Royal Never Give Up. Bam. So it has LGD rated under RNG actually in the ELO method. I don't know what the difference is, but in the Bkop method, they're still rated way higher. Their last best of 3 where they met each other, LGD did in fact lose to RNG. That was back, I believe, in December. Yeah, it was December 26th. So back near Christmas. RNG did take the series 2-1 over LGD, but this is a different LGD. So I guess the question is, does that change anything? Will we see? You know, RNG has been impressive. I think they've been probably the more forgotten team within the Chinese region for the moment, which is unfair to them. You know, they did qualify for ESL 1. Unfortunately, they weren't able to participate in it. They took second at the Bkop Minor, losing to Nigma. They looked really good in that tournament. Like, those are two things recently that have looked good for Royal Never Give Up, and I think they are kind of the forgotten team here when it comes to the Chinese region. Behind, you know, your IGs, your LGDs, your Vichis, and even Team Aster. You know, there's so many teams in this region that have really proven themselves.
PSG.LGD Slug.
So let's see how this goes now that Royal Never Give Up. They get the Sark here for Monet. Sark, Lich, Rubik, Centaur still needing that mid. LGD, they've got the 4 Tiny 5 Oracle, mid Death Prophet, off lane, Timbersaw.
5 seconds remaining. RNG's turn to ban.
Take a look at these LGD games where they dismantled their opponents. It certainly felt like LGD was very much in control
10 seconds
throughout
remaining.
that We Save tournament, and I try not to, or I'm going to try not to
remaining.
put a lot of stock in that event, just because, truthfully, I feel like, you know, it is a charity event. Obviously, you know, who are we to tell what teams were going full or what teams were having fun? You know, it's a charity event. You should be having fun. Having fun probably garners the most donations towards a good cause. So we'll see. I don't know. I think I'm holding back. I'm holding my reservations of LGD just because of the fact that I've watched them get eliminated in an open qualifier twice in a row and have been depressed ever since. So Shadow Fiend gets banned here. OD is banned, as is that Void Spirit, who was the last ban in the first phase for LGD. In terms of your mids, Mars technically could be a mid, depending on the team. Puck's a mid. TK. We've seen Lone Druid mid from time to time. They'll ban the Earth Spirit, so... banning the Earth Spirit. I wonder if maybe they're thinking LGD are going in a different direction with their one. But RNG still needing a mid.
PSG.LGD.
They'll go to the Storm.
Spirit.
So Storm Spirit gets picked up. Let's see what
seconds remaining.
LGD can do here.
5 seconds remaining.
What they're going to pick up last. And they go Huskar.
Select your heroes.
So Huskar picked up last here for LGD. They'll put Somnus on the Huskar with Old 11 on that offlane Timber Saw, and then Chalice safe lane Death Prophet. Unless they're moving Chalice over mid for a moment. But safe lane Death Prophet, throw the Huskar mid up against this Storm Spirit, get the matchup that you so desire. We'll have to see. Again, like I said, I'm holding my reservations on this LGD team. This is a good opponent for them to go up against, and I'm not saying that, you know, Vici and IG weren't good opponents for them to go up against, but this is a tournament with money on the line. $211,000 prize pool coming at you quick. X-Nova on that Oracle, FY on the Tiny Airlines. We'll see if it's able to take off. I know the airlines have been asking for a bailout recently. Look at that. Setsu on the Storm. Should be Flyby on the Centaur with Monet on the Slark. Leaving Super to be on that Lich. And then finally September on the Rubik.
For battle.
So LGD up against Royal Never Give Up on this game one, second best of 3 of the day, with the winner of this taking on IG, who just defeated Vici. So if you were looking for that series, you can go back and watch the VODs on that. But we're here for this series now, so we'll take a look. September, again, you know, I talk about RNG being this semi-forgettable Chinese region team, and I almost feel like that's because of the fact that ESL 1 was canceled. But they're a very strong team. Monet, a very strong safe laner here. They've got Super. And this isn't the Super from China who used to play support. This is the Super who used to play mid for Vici once upon a time. And now he's playing support. He's playing the 5 position. You know, this is the Super that got me into Dota.
The battle begins.
And the Super that got me into Dota, winning ESL 1 with that Vici squad. God, what an event. Black in the 1, Super in the 2, Ice 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 3, FY in the 4, Fenrir in the 5. Where's Fenrir been? I feel like we have not heard from Fenrir in forever. Feels like it's certainly been a while. Tiny Airlines already up for it. Fortune's End comes in. They'll look to get the first blood here on to Super. Speaking of him. And one more shot comes in from Chalice. They'll get first blood. And they've got Chalice right now up against Flyby, who I believe has rotated to get away from Old 11. So we'll see how much musical lanes goes on. What FY is able to accomplish. He already helps to get first blood here for this Death Prophet, which is great here for LGD. Setsu over mid with this Storm up against Somnus on this Huskar. One of the Burning Spear, and the other one into Berserker's Blood. One of the things that I've noticed with Huskars from time to time is, like, they have this amazing lane. They do really well early. They get themselves that Heaven's Halberd to start the game, and then they don't do anything. They just kind of were that presence early and fall off pretty hard. But I wonder, you know, will we see the same thing here on this Huskar for Somnus in this game? Super's courier goes down. They're trying to get the kill here on a flyby. Need a couple more shots. FY does not have an avalanche to throw, but they do have a crypt swarm coming in from Chalice to get the kill, and it's now 2-0 in favor of LGD. The loser of this will end up playing Team Sirius. Unfortunately, it won't be Team Aster. They're dealing with a quarantine situation, so they agreed with the tournament organizers, IMBA, to put another organization team or a team under their organization in the playoffs, and that's going to be Team Sirius, which I think is, I think it's Gintoki. Is it D-Stones? Guevara? I'm blanking on the players on that team for a moment. HYM, I think, was on that team at one point. He might still be there.
Denied.
Setsu eating a lot of damage coming in from Somnus. Does have this bottle to work with now. Needs to be in charge of these runes, but power runes not showing up for a little bit. So definitely a bit of an advantage there for Huskar, which will push this Storm Spirit out of lane. Meanwhile, we take a look over at bottom at old 11, dealing with Monet, at least for the moment, 10-2, up against the 14-8. Not exactly having the best time. But things have been looking good, at least so far here for Chalice over top. He's 2-0 up against Flyby, and that has moved Super towards bottom and left the Centaur all alone for the moment. Setsu back inside the jungle, continuing to try and farm these neutral camps. And, you know, it's really just opening up a huge amount of space here for LGD and Somnus over mid. He's got those two bracers going into the boots next. Sitting and grabbing that first power rune in the haste. So, again, you know, you were hoping, at least if you're Setsu, to control these runes and be in the lane and try to do what you can to give Huskar a run for his money. But now Huskar is dominating the lane, and Storm is out of here. Bunch of Essence Shift going the way of this Slark. Old 11 Timber Chains out of the hands of this Monet Slark to start. As X-Nova does help with Fortune's End thrown on top of the Timber Saw to root up Monet for a moment and allow that Timber Chain to get some space between those two. Now he's continuing to farm over top. He's 20-10, 24-15 for the Huskar, who's now here with the Electric Vortex, but they've got the Avalanche coming in from FY as well as the toss. The damage being done here by September as well as Super making the rotation to try and kill off this Huskar. But Somnus, pretty beefy right now with the two bracers for him, and they might just change their minds and go after FY, but a lot of damage coming out onto this Super Lich. Now the Electric Vortex comes in on a Somnus who might have stayed too long. Body blocks from September are great, and he turns around to use that inner fire to potentially save the life of this Tiny, but in fact ends up dead himself. So maybe not the move that Somnus was looking to make. That certainly allows Setsu to feel like he's back into this, and realistically he is. He's just about even in terms of experience, and they're going to lose old 11 bottom. So kills aplenty coming in here for this side of RNG. They've come in bunches, but Chalice with his third kill on a killing spree over top. That'll give him 1,000 net worth lead. And we'll take a peek. We'll go back to last hits in just a moment, but you do see that Chalice is leading the way. Slark not terribly far behind, but even with the Huskar for the moment. There's good rotations from September and Super to help out Setsu mid to take care of both Somnus and FY. FY roaming around, trying to do what he can, continuing to be Tiny Airlines for the moment. Looks over towards top, where Flyby is sitting stationary with the 202 build, and this has been a Centaur without a Ruben. You know, like I had said previously, you usually see the Centaur here with the Rubik to get that telekinesis into the hoof stomp, work with those retaliate stacks, but not what we're seeing over towards top for RNG for Flyby. But for right now, he'll sit stationary in lane while he's got Super as well as Setsu behind him, potentially looking to make a move onto Chalice and shut him down as he's 3-0. Oracle is over. Got the help of X-Nova now. Again, with this rotation from Setsu, it leaves Somnus continue to farm. He's level 7. 4 into the Berserker's Blood, 2 into the Verdant Spears, 1 in the Inner Fire. And holding out with 2 bracers going into the Armlet to start. Now we take a look at Flyby once again. They've got the toss. That'll put him right on top of Chalice. Flyby on the run, trying to TP out, but the damage is just there. As FY gets the kill, it's an assist for Chalice, putting him 3-0-1. And this is, something that, like I said, I've been holding my reservations about, is how well Chalice is going to play in this one position, and this is a good test for him. Outside of an environment where it's a charity tournament, where maybe you can, excuse some bad play, this is $210,000 on the line. So, Chalice so far, I know it's early, 8 minutes into the first game of this series, but from what I'm seeing so far, he's playing pretty well. The question is, will Monet bring enough to the table to bring this one back? So there's the pounce leashing onto Old 11. He's got Super as well as September. They've got the telekinesis, but not the damage. A very tanky Timbersaw staying alive as the rotation comes out here from the Slark and some others. But this is leaving Chalice to just go after the tier 1 tower over top. He pops that exorcism, and they're going to look to take this objective while the rest of Royal Never Give Up are occupied elsewhere. So there's the tier 1 tower. 9 minutes. We can switch and keep it on net worth now. Huskar continuing to just farm up over on these neutral camps, looking to grab himself that armlet, and that could potentially be the moment where we see him start to move and go off. Wondering if that will be the armlet into the halberd for the Huskar, as Chalice is going to try and defend over bottom, pushes them away with 1 Crypt Swarm. Monet and September both back off this tower, but they're coming around as the 9:53 mark. Pounce, leash. And they've got the outposts. I believe they've got both outposts. Yes, they do. So the timings work out well. The Timber Chain doesn't latch. They're still going to chase Monet. Change their focus over to September. Telekinesis comes through onto Old 11. Drops him down out of the range of going after this Rubik consistently. And FY now with haste. So got to worry about him. The Electric Vortex comes through. FY backs off and keeps his distance. All the while, still Somnus continuing to farm. As he's got the armlet on the way, and it will be the Heaven's Halberd next. Meanwhile, Chalice going into the Yules. Got the Timbersaw, who's building into the hood, has that Soul Ring. Tiny going Blink Dagger. And it's so good to see FY still here with LGD. I know rumors had stated that he was going to retire, or that had been a post from like Aggressive or something like that. I'm happy he's still here. One of the best 4s in the game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Setsu smoked, putting his attention towards the top to potentially look after Somnus. They've got 3 heroes here for the side of Royal Never Give Up, as well as September not too far away if they were to try and engage, and rotations came out from LGD. But now, the new Yules comes in from Chalice. They'll look over at Monet. They'll pop the Exorcism. Frostblast hits onto Chalice, but that will back him back to the tower to try and get this tier 1.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And pressure continuing to be felt. They throw Old 11 forward. They've got the signs coming in from Chalice. They'll steal the Timber Chain, but he won't be able to get it off. They'll get the kill into September. They've got the Sinister Gaze out onto Old 11 with the Storm rotating. Setsu, I'm not certain this is the fight you want to go after, but they get the kill into the Oracle. They'll take out X-Nova to start this off. They'll also use the Stampede, continue to charge down the throats of LGD, but it's not going to be enough to get any more kills other than the Oracle. FY nearby, Setsu now trying to get the kill here onto the Tiny. The Avalanche will be used. FY trying to run. The silence comes through from Chalice, and now it's actually Setsu the one who's in trouble. Yules comes out. Do they have the lockdown? They've got the toss as well as the damage. They'll get the kill. They'll take out the Storm Spirit, and it's 6-4 in favor of LGD, who are meticulously pulling apart RNG. Look over it, flyby, and the Chakram is stolen by September, but this is still all a fight, which seemed to rage on, at least for the early moments, without Somnus. So OGD up 4,000 net worth. 11 backs off this, and he's got that hood.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Compare that to the Centaur who's going into the pipe, and then the Blink Dagger. Does FY, he's just short of that Blink. That'll be the gap closer there, potentially with a life break behind it. Timbersaw going into the Sun. You've got Somnus pushing and pressuring on the mid-tier 1. Meanwhile, they got the tier 1 over bottom. They've got the Electric Vortex coming through as well as the Stampede. They'll be right on top of this Timbersaw. Old 11 tanky. Can he survive it? No. Setsu gets the kill with the help of Super in September. They'll take out the Timbersaw, and now it's only a 2,000 net worth lead for LGD. But while all this is going on, and Chalice continuing to farm, he'll sit top of the net worth behind Somnus. Or towards the top behind Somnus. Who's still looking to finish off this Heaven's Halberd. He, again, really hasn't been involved in much. So 1-1.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant are scanning.
So take that tier 1 over mid. No more tier 1 standing here for the side of RNG. A shot comes through onto Old 11, but nothing more. They've got the Diffusal Blade to finish off on the Sark. They look over flyby. So with the Yules, but well, nothing more.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Closing in on the Heaven's Halberd. He's got the Sange with him, so he'll pick up the Talisman of Evasion, finish off the Halberd once he gets the gold for it, just 200 gold away from it. And then Old 11, he's picking up the Sange, goes into the hood, and is sitting here with himself at level 10, and Somnus behind him at 12. Chalice at 10 as well. He's going in towards that BKB. X-Nova now ready at 6 with a false promise to save whoever maybe needs him. But X-Nova now chased by Monet. They've got a Fortune Zandy trying to stay alive with the false promise, but now the Stampede coming through. They got the Silence on September as well as Super. They'll look towards the right end of this Roche pit. The Hoof Stomp hits out of the Huskar, but now can Somnus do anything with this? He gets bashed up by Roche, keeping him away from the rest of the side of RNG. They'll get the kill into Super. The Avalanche comes in from FY, but he takes a lot of damage from Monet as well as Flyby. The Life Break comes through as well as the Inner Fire. That'll disarm a lot of these heroes on the side of RNG. They'll get the kill into September, and now they've taken out both supports, but will they get anything more? Flyby ends up falling to the Crypt Swarm, and now they'll ball lightning away. Timber Chain from Old 11, buying some time. Diffusal Blade used from Monet on Old 11 to slow him up, but it's the Aegis into the hands of LGD, so they play that fight well enough to get themselves the Aegis, despite losing their supports.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
will used again. Monet on the run. Monet moves forward, but needs to be careful. Life break hits on the super. They've got the Fade Bullet as well as the Inner Fire coming through. That will disarm both the Centaur as well as this Lich. They'll get the kill there on the super. They'll look for Monet. Hoof Stomp hits onto the Timber Saw, taking a lot of damage. The Electric Vortex keeps him close. They'll get the kill on old 11, who dives in a little bit too deep. 10-8.
Dire structures are fortified. Radiant's courier has been killed. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower.
Bit of an over-aggressive move there from old 11. Blink, Avalanche, as well as the toss now coming through on a flyby. Hoof Stomp lands on 2, but they'll get the easy kill. Nova caps it off with a Fortune's End. Still just a 4,000 net worth lead right now for LGD. Setsu's going into the Bloodstone. They've got the Diffuse away. They're looking for the BKB on Slark. Slark's sitting 1,000 gold behind Chalice on this Death Prophet. He's just about finishing off this BKB, but they've got the Silence out on Setsu. They'll get the kill there onto the Storm Spirit with the help of Somnus as well as X-Nova. And grabbing that Silence out onto the Storm makes him pretty much a creep. They can really rip through him quite quickly. Somnus now going into the Ags. As they blink forward, Avalanche comes through. They've also got the toss saved up for when Chalice comes by, and another kill there for him. He'll be wicked sick at 7-0-6. They've got Exorcism. They could take the tier 2 and then move on to pressure the tier 3 with Exorcism and force the hand of RNG.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
They actually choose to get the tier 2 tower. They back away. As they are still holding onto the Aegis on Somnus, they could just look to pressure elsewhere, and that's exactly what they're doing. They put pressure on over top, they'll put pressure on over mid. Now they'll smoke up. We'll see if they go after Monet. Got this BKB. Monet towards bottom. Into the trees. Can he survive? Let's TP out. So escaped successfully. They've got themselves the Philosopher's Stone, and that'll be moved over to X-Nova. We'll be happy to get that extra gold going into the Glimmer Cape and then the Blink Dagger, but you've got F-Fly right now. Who's got that Blink Dagger next going to you. Life Break, Ball Lightning, pulls Somnus a little bit far from his team. Not really going to matter all too much. Somnus again dealing with a Life Break in just a couple of seconds. Monet now pounces and makes some space between him and the Huskar, and nobody really engaging from RNG. They just want to get out of there. Centaur Stampede. Avalanche short of Flyby. So continuing to extend that lead now. 6,000 net worth lead right now for LGD. Timber Chain onto the high ground. We're looking for a hoof stomp. We'll grab it. Now can the rest of RNG make anything happen with this? Go to the tier 3 tower. They'll use that Exorcism. And they will steal Exorcism.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They get the tier 3 tower. They look over at the set of racks. They continue to move on forward. The Fable throwing an old 11, but nothing really to stop them here. They've got the Storm over bottom as well as the Slark inside the jungle. They're not even committing to coming back on this. They will let the racks fall. How much are you willing to give up? He just expires on Somnus, and it's the right timing here for LGD to just take their winnings and go. get the free racks. Slark and Storm continuing to try and farm. They're really trying to get into this BKB on Monet to see if it will make the difference. Now they'll need the BKB on Setsu as he's finished off this Bloodstone.
Radiant are scanning.
So will these items even be enough to hold up against this LGD lineup? Grab this last outer tower over bottom. They've got FY nearby with that Blink Dagger ready to go. Lightning coming through. Old 11 eating the damage that's on him. Telekinesis comes in. He won't be able to Timber Chain away, but they've got the Pounce as well as the Leech. They've got the Avalanche hitting on 4 of these heroes. They'll still try to take out this Timbersaw who's eating a lot of this aggression, but he's fine. Exorcism from September. That gets committed, and it does also steal Avalanche, but Old 11 back to full health.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And it must feel really good to be 5v1 and not really dealing with thinking you might die in that situation. I think the entire time Calm, Cool, Collected knew he was fine. Now that the Exorcism is run out from September, I mean, he gets it back, but it's on cooldown for 97 seconds, so is it really worth stealing that? You're probably going to want to get something else out of this. This could just be the last fight. Thanks to look for the hook stop, though, to get the BKB off from Chalice, and now September coming forward with the ball lightning coming through. They've got the false promise to save FY. Exorcism starting to cut away at these heroes on the side of RNG. They'll throw the Chain Frost, but still this Timbersaw survives. They've got the Electric Vortex. Can they finally take out Old 11? Yes, they can. They got the Life Break coming through on a Super. Now they look over at Monet, who's now without this BKB. It's on cooldown for another minute. They look for Flyby. They get the Purifying Flames out, and he's starting to heal up off of that. But now, with the Fortunes and with the Purifying Flames, once again, they'll get the toss. The 3-point shot comes in from FY, but Somnus will take the 2 points from a shorter distance and get the kill. After all is said and done, 15-9. They did get the kill on the Timbersaw. They'll ball lightning across these creeps to clean up. And actually, Setsu doesn't do that with a TP. Do end up losing the melee racks. Range racks stand over bottom. They're continuing to lose buildings here on the side of RNG with minimal answers. Especially if they lose Setsu. Avalanche. They're going to spot the Storm. But they won't have any way to really stop him from just leaving if they were to engage. Electric Vortex comes in. They're going for Somnus. I'm not really sure that this is the plan that they really want to go for. They've got themselves the Heaven's Helmet out on the Monet. Somnus taking a lot of damage. The Telekinesis comes through. Can they get the kill here onto the Huskar? They can. He's down for 51 seconds. BKB is going to be popped by Chalice going after Monet, who now try to leave. Stampede, are they re-engaging? Looking for Chalice without the BKB? They will. Ball lightning over with the Electric Vortex. They'll lock him down for a moment. They've got the Spirit Second, I think, stolen from Rubik onto the Death Prophet, and now X-Nova, Fortune's End, comes in onto the Storm. They get the kill on Setsu. They don't even need Somnus for the moment. Continuing to move forward, FY still alive. They've got themselves the hook stop out on the Death Prophet, but Chalice surviving, has the False Promise help from X-Nova, so it'll be good to turn around in just a moment. They've got themselves the Fortune's End as well as the Avalanche toss coming through on the flyby once again. They'll get the kill on the Centaur. He's dead for 50 seconds. No buyback. Timber Chain forward. Old 11 moving in. Doesn't have a way to stop these heroes from disengaging, but RNG might make that decision for him. 11,000 net worth lead here for the side of LGD. Have that Blink Dagger available on X-Nova, so he can position himself properly to help out his team, especially, you know, there with Chalice on that Death Prophet getting low. Looked like for a second he might even lose his life. So now they go into Roche, looking for the second Roche, Aegis, and Cheese into their hands. They've got themselves the heart on Somnus. That means Oscar feeling like he is unkillable.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Courier? Oh, baiting you with the courier. Force Staff Avalanche gets in on a Setsu. Now they've got the Clumsy Net. They'll have the Lockdown Storm in trouble. Purifying Flames comes in as well as the Clumsy Net once again. And oh boy, on the run. Fortune Zen locks him down once more. The tree that is stone on this cosmetic thrown at the Storm Spirit to get the kill on a Setsu. Old 11 finishes off with the last blow. Great movement there from FY with the Force Staff as well as the Blink Dagger to close the gap between him and the Storm. Blink, Avalanche, toss onto the Rubik. Telekinesis comes through and he'll drop down Force Staff from Chalice onto, or Force Staff from FY onto Chalice. And should be able to get the kill with ease onto the Rubiks. Taking out September once again. Continuing to just rip through RNG with little resistance. Somnus keeping the pressure on over top. As that arm went on 24/7 now. All 11 out of mana. They've got the Ball Lightning as well as the Electric Vortex. Can they get the kill onto the Timbersaw? No, they can't with the Silence hitting onto a couple of these heroes. Hits onto the Lich as well as the Slark. Start to posture over towards top. Ball Lightning across. Storm will walk it out, and they'll commit the Exorcism to this. So now can RNG defend this? Got the Silence for a second on Somnus. Glyph as well. Exorcism starting to rip through the tier 3 tower. Monet coming over. Looks over at Old 11. Take the tier 3. They'll start on the racks. RNG may need to answer eventually. Toss comes in from FY. Chain Frost bouncing around with Bkop being popped by Monet. They'll go to the Ball Lightning as well as the Electric Vortex on X Nova, so they take up full support. They'll buy back on FY. He needs to get back into this. Old 11 loses his courier, but they get the kill onto the Rubik as well as Flyby on the Centaur. LGD ready to continue on forward. I don't really care that they've lost their supports. Well, FY will get back into this one. Timber Chain as well as the Chakram across. They've got the Ball Lightning as well as the BKB being popped here by Setsu. They do a lot of damage on it. September, who will end up dying once again. He's dead for 70 seconds without buyback. Setsu's BKB is going to run out in just a moment. Can't even get the kill on FY here. Somnus doesn't even actually care about that. He'll take the melee racks, and now we'll move his attention over to Monet. GG gets called by RNG. LGD take game 1, and I mean, they really do it with ease. A sublime game from them. Never once did it feel like this game was in doubt. (24-12). LGD 30 minutes in, finish off the game 8-0 and 15 for Chalice. And this is my first time firsthand seeing Chalice in the 1 position. He played perfect. He played super clean. Did everything his team could have asked him for and more. And Somnus, a couple of questionable deaths, 7-2 and 8, still played really well. The team looks good. Old 11 meshing pretty well with this team, maybe getting over extended a couple times and maybe ahead of himself, playing a different style in some ways than the rest of the team maybe was playing in that game. But we'll see them in game 2, as we'll be back with game 2 in just a moment. LGD up against RNG. We'll be back in just a moment. I'm a caster here on Beyond the Summit. I'm Bkop at Bkop92 on Twitter. Follow me to know when I'm casting next. Stay right there. We'll be right back.